Here I am, in the place to be. Mr. K&B, you can't fuck with me. Extra sexy, extraordinary. Palms are hairy, your mama pop. Ooh, about to get real on this one. What up, y'all? K&B the Sexy Ninja in the place to be for C Plus Studios and the Paper Saber universe. Welcome to the Sexy Ninjacast. What's the Sexy Ninjacast? It's a podcast all about K&B, my loves, my dislikes, my truth, motivation, something for you to listen to that's not just the New World podcast. I know I've been slacking a little bit on the Sexy Ninjacast, but I've just been so busy with work and everything, and also working on me, working on my stuff, working on the future of what I want to do here at C Plus Studios. How I want to build, how I want to put some positivity out in the world, you know. And I know the world's not so positive, man. We got people who fat shame. That's happened to me a few times on this thing. Little, you know, those little shorts, and this just shows you people just want a reaction. They want you to get mad. They want you to rebel against them and say fuck you and all this and that. But I don't. I really don't. You know, when I first started podcasting, I already knew how cruel the internet can be. I already knew how disgusting people can be, you know, and I was prepared for it. I put myself out there, and, you know, I'm still putting myself out there, you know, trying to entertain people and whatnot. People are not going to like it. There's going to be people that really fucking don't like it. There's, you know, and anybody that's getting into podcasting or anything like that, man, you just need to understand. You just got to do you. Got to stand your ground. You know, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. Like with when you're watching your numbers not really moving up or anything like that, you know. And I'm not saying I'm like super fucking, you know, like, oh my God, I'm streaming millions, but I'm being real, you know, and that's all you can do is just be real, be yourself. Just, you know, and I got to say, doing the New World podcast, that's been really a game changer for me because it's become more therapeutic than it has been like, I gotta record. But it's also been, oh my God, I gotta record type feelings as well. You know, like the weekend of WrestleMania, the anxiety was so high because my fucking internet was not working. I know I said I wasn't going to mention that again, but the internet was just not working, you know, and I like being on a schedule, and I'm somebody who doesn't really like change, even though change is necessary sometimes in your life. I'm somebody that I have a system to follow. I'm kind of, you know, and I'm chicken shit about a lot of things, and, you know, but I'm being honest. I'll be honest, man. Like there's no, like, I'm not the greatest in the world. You know, I'm trying to be the best dad, but I don't think I'm the best dad. I don't think I'm the best husband. I don't think I'm the best of, you know, but I still have the willpower to be the best, to keep striving to be the best. I'm not perfect. No one is. Do I have anger issues? Fuck yeah. You know, do I have other problems that I need to address? Hell yeah. We all do. We all got to take a look in the mirror. Like, you know, recently with my foot incident, and it's funny as I was going back and looking at some vlogs I did from back in the day, and there was some ones I did where I was like exercising and getting in there, exercising because I wanted to get back in the ring shape. And it was one of those things, it was one of those days I dropped the weight on my fucking foot. And this was over a year ago, you know. And it's just been a battle, you know. Some days it was good, some weeks, months to be fine. Then a flare up, and then, you know, they're saying it was gout. Then I was so hell bent against that, man. Even the homie Colin was like, "Yo, you got gout," and I was like, "Fuck you, no, I don't." You know, I'm not that fucking fat or, you know, that fucking unhealthy. You know, I was doubting so many things, and I'm gonna be real fucking honest on this podcast today. So just bear with me. Like it was one of those things I was so in doubt about it. I got so depressed, you know. And then then I had a huge flare up, and I went to the doctor again. You know, I've been trying to eat healthy, but I am my own worst enemy. I like to implode. I like to, you know, I'll start something like today. I was like, you know, I'm not gonna drink anymore. I'm not gonna drink anymore. but my brain is already thinking, because I will say it right here, right now. I'm a fucking alcoholic. I am. That is the hardest thing to admit and say and just do, because it's something that I'm ashamed of, but it's also something that I do to, there's many excuses I do it for. I want to sleep. I need to sleep. I have terrible nightmares and this and that, and one day, well, shit, today I just woke up and I was like, I don't want to do this no more, man. And I went to physical therapy for my foot, and she, worked it up. It feels good. It doesn't feel like 100% fine, but it also feels like, damn, dog. Like you need to get back in the game of being like healthy, because I haven't been healthy. I've been a fat fuck, man. And I don't want to be a downer, but that's what it is, man. And I've been so down on myself, as a person and lately, but I keep trying to be like, all right. So I started a project that I've had in the works for a long time. This is like when we started doing this podcast thing and everything like that. I was like, I really want to motivate somebody. Well, how can you motivate somebody when you're not really motivating yourself, right? So I started writing these entries, kind of like a journal, diary, but it's all over the place. Like, give me a piece of paper, then I'll start writing and stuff like that. Or I'll start typing, then I'll print it out and put it in my idea book and stuff like that. So I have a few here. And the biggest thing about this is being truthful, being honest, being 100% KMB the Sexy Ninja, but also being Kyle at the same time. And sometimes it's hard to split those two differences between each other. And you're probably thinking to yourself, like, what do you, like, you're that into yourself? Yes, I am that into myself. Sometimes narcissistic, if you want to call it that. Sometimes it's because I believe in myself. I believe in this platform. I believe in everything I do. Everything I do, I believe in. Biggest thing is believing in myself for my mental health, for my, my well-being, to being healthy, and trying to not let negative things interfere, because I'll be honest. Yeah. They're, like, the fat shaming comments make me laugh more than actually hurt my feelings, but they also hurt my feelings. Like you see these things, I'm like, damn, like, I'm wondering if this person's fat as well, but they're lashing out because, they're like, oh, go run a fucking treadmill. I was just sharing a mutton sandwich with my brother, and this motherfucker has to be like, oh, yeah, you need to, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to bully you and shit like that. And I was like, fuck you. I think I need to say that more, just to let it out. Fuck you, just because, I'm just trying to make entertainment. I am just trying to bring something raw, real, funny. And when I see comments like that on anything I do, I just like to be nice back. Kill them with kindness, right? Kill them with kindness. And if I can help somebody with that, and it's funny, it's like there's people I work with at work who get their feelings hurt so quick, so fast. But I'm like, hey, fuck them. Do you, be you, be people who are self-conscious about themselves. Like the other day, here's a good example. I forgot my hat for work. And I had to, like, because I wear my hat like all the time. I have really long hair up top, but I really don't display it. And I like wearing my hat backwards, like I've always had done. But I forgot my hat. And like I had to actually, like, and I'm in an environment where I have to look professional and whatnot. So I comb my hair back. It's long enough to kind of put it in a ponytail, or a man bun or whatever you want to call it, But like I was walking around and I was like, oh, Kyle, you're so weird. You don't have your hat on. I was like, can you not? They're like, what do you mean? I was like, can you not? Like, I know I don't have my hat on, but they were giving me compliments, and they're like, no, your hair looks really good. I was like, yeah, stop. Like, just stop. I don't know why. I just got into my own feelings about it because I was not wearing my hat. And, I think the hat is more or less like a security blanket than anything. It's like with this wrestling thing, I won't go back too far into it, but I'm just saying this wrestling thing is just one of those things where it's comfort. it's something I look forward to. When Monday rolls around, I know it's a whole new week of these shows and stuff, a whole new week. We got Mandalorian, we got, Bad Batch is just in. We got, I got Picard that's still going on. I got comic books every week. I have all these escapisms for myself. And really, it's one of those things where I kind of need to just maybe do something different. You know what I mean? Like my wife said it the other day. She's like, hey, I think you're doing too much. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, with all the podcasting and stuff like that, like, your foot hurting and you're not healthy. And I'm not the best listener because I like to listen to myself. That's a problem I've had all my life. I'm right, you're wrong, and this is why, when I was working with Big Daddy, that was the frustration because we were both like, no, it's me, and he was more willing to do things outside the box than I was. I'll be 100% honest. He was like, let's do this, and I'm like, no, it has to be this way. Oh no, it has to be this way. So and then when I finally just like got past myself, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, so this is the other side. And he'd be like, I fucking told you. And I'm like, okay. It took me a while to learn, and it's like stuff like Colin, try to get me to go to the gym. I made excuses, because I work late. I usually get out of 10, 11 if it's that crazy or whatnot. And then I just sleep, sleep. And it's one of those things where he would like, let's go 6 a.m. Yeah. Then, we broke it down to Saturdays and Sundays. We were like, yeah, we need to do it Saturday, Sunday, and I'm like, yeah, brother, I'm going to get back in the ring, brother. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then I just stopped. And this goes back to what my wife said. I get too distracted with what I'm trying to do and making these videos, making these vlogs. But I mean, it's funny though, is they're so therapeutic at the same goddamn time, and it's like me buying action figures or me buying comic books and reading them and stuff like that. It's so therapeutic, but it's also something that I need to take a step back on and be like, yo, man, one, you're spending too much money. Two, look at yourself, and I won't lie. Like last night, I was just laying there. My foot was killing me. Like we had a really nice day. Me and the family went out to go eat. And then we went to the mall. Then we got some boba, but man, my foot was killing me. And I was just trying not to be a party pooper. My wife's like, you all right? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm great. I'm 100%, baby, and, lying just because I don't want to ruin the day. We get these moments and opportunities so far and few in between because we're so busy. We're so busy with everything. So, I'm trying to reevaluate now my schedule because I have a schedule. I have a set schedule with the job that makes the money, and I have a set schedule with this, the way I do things. But it's also finding a schedule for my health and myself, getting back to the gym. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. Not going to the gym because I had this excuse of like being tired. I'm asleep. And then I wake up to 20 bazillion texts from Colin. And sadly, he's given up on me. It's true. Like he's given up on me. And I'm just like, fuck, because, I need to get past myself as a person, as an individual. And this all goes back to writing this self-help book. And I got to say, I've probably written out some really good shit by doing this and just letting it out on the page. Like, I want to read one for you real quick. This one I wrote the other day because I did feel this way. You ever feel trapped inside your own skin? Does your brain feel like something is growing inside and it will burst out at any minute? Does accomplishment mean nothing when the goal has been done so many years ago? And then this part was actually true because I was walking through work. I was walking one day and someone asked me, you still doing that wrestling thing? That was one of the heaviest hitting questions of my day. I am such a pro wrestling fan, and I actually wrestled for 5 years. Such an amazing time in my life. And that and it will forever haunt me. It still haunts me to this day because I stopped, and the reason behind that is because, my daughter was coming, that changes everything. That changes everything. You kids, my kid comes first more than anything in this world. And she is my everything. I made a song called Everything, and it's about her. I'm proud of that song. Love hearing that song. She doesn't like hearing that song because she's like, Daddy's so cheesy. I'm like, yeah, no, but I love you so much, And it's one of those things where, like, the other day it was funny. I was chilling, and all of a sudden I just heard a song. I'm like, what are you listening to? And she goes, oh, it's this. It's Cross Mary or something like that. And it was the band Ghost, and I know the band Ghost. And I'm like, man, this kid's cooler than me. I'm over here listening to what was I listening to? I was texting Colin about. I was like, man, it's so fucking cheesy. It was back in 2006. I got I think it was Ashley Parker or something like that, the dude from O-Town that went and kind of did the rock thing for a little bit. He only dropped one album, the soundtrack to my life, and I remember hearing that. And it's just so funny. It's like sad music makes me happy, but also makes me sad. And with everything going on in certain communities and stuff like that, it is a downer. But I look here and I have this really great picture of Kathy that they did at the fair, when you do those pictures and they make your head a little bit bigger than your body and this and that. Yeah, I got this one right here that she went to the fair with my mom and my dad, and I have it on my desk here. I'm looking at it. It's right next to my Star Wars poster, and I like looking at it. I'm like, this is what I do this for. This is what I'm trying to build, for my family. I'm trying to make something for my family. I'm trying to make so much dope shit that my daughter can look back and be like, oh, because as crazy as this shit goes, and all of it, as crazy as this shit goes, man, it's I can go back now in this past 5-6 years and find something in everything we've recorded, everything I've recorded, everything I've edited, because like doing the New World podcast, I'm watching AEW All Access, and it's just like behind the scenes type stuff. But to my point is, I was like, they're talking about certain storylines and stuff like that, and I was like, I wonder if I wrote about this. And I went in my book. I was like, oh shit, I did, huh? And then I wrote something on the note on the side about that day, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. It's like a documentary, but in long form, like long 6 years of just recording. And seeing the trip to Ohio and revisiting that, and going to see the trip to Colorado, when Colin pulled my ass up and said, let's fucking go. And we were like, let's go then, and certain things and memories. Then I see memories pop up from like 10 years ago on your Facebook, and it's stuff like, cheesy shit like, no one could stop me on blah, 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 blah. But I look at that, I'm like, man, that part of my life's not documented. It is sort of on Facebook, but there's also things I think that's like, I like this aspect because I can go back to this and be like, oh, I remember April 17th, I went on a fucking rant and I was sharing my book idea to everyone that's listening on a podcast or the YouTube or Twitch or whatever, and be like, oh man, that felt good because I let out everything that day, and it just feels good, And I remember this one, I typed this one out, and it's called The Bump. And if you'll notice, like, these are mostly like those two as of now. There's more writings, but these two are wrestling stuff. But this was going to be a chapter called The Bump. And the book I wanted to write, I'm going to write, is called Rebuilding a Sexy Ninja. So here we go. The first time I ever witnessed a spectacle that is professional wrestling was many moons ago, and I never looked back since. My love and passion for the sport is undeniable and true. I can thank my great-grandpa, who would rush my mom and great-grandma when we went to town on Saturdays to get some shopping done. Great-grandpa did not mess around. Saturday night main event from the WWF at the time it was called. Now it's WWE. He always watched it in his little work area that was next to my grandma and grandpa's bedroom. Little TV, but the magic coming off that screen was truly incredible. Larger than life characters battling in a war of good and evil. Hulk Hogan, the biggest star at the time, hulking up and laying the villains down with the big boot to the face for the count of 1, 2, 3. Me and my great grandpa would cheer on our favorite WWF superstar. Sadly, when he passed away, my love for pro wrestling grew even more because that was our thing together. Pro wrestling gave us an unbreakable bond, and I still imagine him in that big blue sky rushing great grandma when she is shopping so yeah, he can get home to watch Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown. My grandma Chris carried the torch for me, and we watched wrestling every Monday at the farm. She had this awesome trailer and the piece on this piece of land where wait, hold on. And the piece of land we were on had many cool places to explore. I love that farm. I got hit by a goat. She had goats and stuff like that. And I remember I had to feed the goats. I was telling my brother the story the other day. I was like, man, fucking goats. There was this one mean SOB, and I jumped in there to go feed him, and all of a sudden I turned around and I saw him perk up. I was like, oh shit, then I freaking ran. And then he got me right in the ass. Let's see. Any cool place? Oh, she had wait, right here. She had goats on this farm, and once in a while I would pretend to have a steel cage match in the goat's pen till they woke up and booted me out with their enormous horns. I said my prayers and ate my sugary snacks and soda pop while watching WWF's Monday Night Raw and flipping over to the TNT network to see what was going on. WCW's Monday Night Nitro, the almighty Monday Night Wars between two rival companies. The ultimate thing for a young boy to watch. Now, one channel. And, now New World Order, and you had DX on the other. Too sweet to my friends at school and plenty of cross-arm crotch chops to my teachers. Life was good, and I remember my grandma Chris and my uncles would make any wrestling pay-per-view an all-out holiday. We have a huge cookout, and it was perfection. My grandma Chris hated Vince McMahon and always cheered when Stone Cold Steve Austin would whoop his ass. Me and my brother Kal-El watching these shows and we were practicing all the moves, putting each other in submissions until one or another tapped out. So the grammar needs some work, but this was just I do what Big Daddy tells me, because he's the writer more than I am. He says just lay it out there, then go back and refix everything. But this kind of made me choke up because my grandma Chris and my great grandpa were big on wrestling, and I really wish, I know they did, but I really wish they did see me in the ring. But I'm glad. I've told the story before, but I think one of the coolest moments, I still have the picture, is I had to wrestle my final match. This is the match where I go down. It's injury, and I debuted a character called the Screaming Puma or something like that. And I was like, because they had a battle. I think it was a battle royale or something. They had a battle royale match booked, but they don't have enough talent for the damn thing to even do. So while I'm getting ready to do my last match against Scott Archer for the Kick-Axe heavyweight championship, the belt I held for 5 years. No, 3 years. 3 years. Sorry. Beat Zitro, El Zitro, in a hardcore match at the Rolls Center here on Flagstaff NAU campus. But that was my last match was with Scott Archer. And it was one of those things where I had a lucha mask I had for a very long time. It was gold and black. I put it on and I put some overalls on over my gear, and I went out there and I was like, woo, and as soon as I went out there, my whole family was there. Pregnant wife, my grandma, my grandpa, my Che, my mom, my dad, my uncle, my auntie, and my cousins, and they got to see me do my last match. And that meant the world to me because I've been wanting them to watch me wrestle. My grandma Chris is not here anymore. My great grandma's not here. And I was just thinking of them. I remember when I did what I did, getting into wrestling and whatnot, I remember being like, man, I really wish they can see me. I really wish, and my mom and everyone tells me they are watching you and they're proud of you, and sometimes I don't, I understand, when people say that, and they say they're proud of you. And sometimes I question, I'm like, are they? because I'm not a saint. I've done a lot of things, you know, and it crushes me to think that way, but it's true. You know, you got to be real to yourself. You got to be real in answering questions, really, especially the really hard questions. Like, I'm not proud of this. Would I try to kill myself over someone who at the time, you know, we I was in love, she wasn't, you know, and I made the decision to break it up, but I couldn't handle everything after, you know. So I made a choice, and that choice was to cut myself and bleed out for like a couple of days. Now I have nerve damage and stuff like that, and I don't hide them. I don't hide them whatsoever. I tell people like, hey, you know, you're gonna learn. Like, things happen. Your emotions get the best of you. You need to embrace the fact that life happens, you know, and we are just human beings with these emotions, and sometimes they can go unchecked. But when you check them, you learn from them, you know. I forgot who said it. Eddie Kingston. He says, you either win or you learn. And when you learn, you build from there. And as I'm going on this crazy rant about all this shit, I'm learning in the process. I'm already thinking of things that I'm just like, I could do this, I could do that. Instead of drinking, I could do this, you know, and maybe read more before I go to bed and then get sleepy and stuff like that. You know, I need to fight the demons that I've been fighting for so fucking long that I just got to let it out. Just, you know, and this is really just trying to help somebody out there that is going through the same things I'm going through, or just going through something worse. It's okay. There's another day. I've said this a million times. You know, what's funny is I had a pod. I found it. It's called 5 Minutes of Positivity. I was drunk off my ass, but I wanted to do something that somebody would listen to and be like, yeah, you know, get motivated. And you can find it. I didn't take it off. It's like it's one of the very like first couple 2 episodes. If you go on I already looked on Spotify. And I did the sort from newest to oldest or whatever. You can go see the first few episodes of the Social Vent podcast, how we started all of this. You'll see the hashtag 5 Minutes of Positivity. It's just me going like, you can be whatever you want. You want to suck a dick, suck a dick. You want to eat pussy, eat pussy. You want to do this, you want to eat ass. You know, it's just this long rant. It's just being like, be you, brother. You know, this is crazy cutting fucking, you know. And I remember I recorded it. I was buzzed, and then I sent it off, and then like the next day, like, Big Daddy was like, "What the fuck is this? What? Like, where were you?" I was like, "I was in the car. It was at night, the lights on, and people were walking by with their dogs and shit." And I'm all like, you know, be what you want to be. I fucking love you, you know. So go check it out. It's called 5 Minutes of Positivity, but also doing that, like seeing the growth of shitty audio, you know, shitty video taking and stuff like that. Like, I don't have the best webcam, but right now I'm investing in one later, especially because I do want to do more streams with the wrestling games and stuff, and also some other games that I'm actually looking forward to that I want to play, like that Suicide Squad versus the Justice League or whatever. You know, I was like, damn, I want to play that. I wanted to play Gotham Knights, but I don't have an Xbox X. So as I sell more merch, that, you know, that goes towards that goal, but also goes towards everything else here, keeping the lights on, keeping the equipment updated. And that's another thing, seeing equipment. You know, this really nice mic I got at Best Buy. This mic Doug has. He has this, it's a HyperX. And I remember just falling in love with this mic because of the red light that goes on, and the audio is so nice and crisp. And seeing the light stands I have over here, camera stands, the camera down here, there's a drone over here, there's GoPros here, you know, there's all this stuff that we didn't have in the beginning. We just had our phones, and we were like, we can do anything we want. Or I do a lot of shit on my phone anyway, like all the designs and graphics and whatnot, constantly on social media, and so, you know, just constantly posting and whatnot. But what was it? Yeah. So here's another entry I did. This was going to be the introduction of the book. So it's going to be a little rough, but I wrote this one, and I can tell you the date I wrote this on. No, I can't. No, this was during. I wrote notes in the. Oh, you can't see it. I wrote notes in the back for a manager meeting I had. Whoever thought I would be a manager either. All right. I always knew I would write a book, but I never knew it would be a self-help book. I have many fandoms and passions. I always thought I would write and create my own sci-fi drama. Star Wars is one of my biggest influence in this crazy world, my safety bubble to be in the galaxy far, far away. Comic books are another safety bubble. Pro wrestling is as well, and movies. These things, though, are, let's see, what did I wrote here? See, it's all in like crazy handwriting. These things, though, are not for my entertainment, but an escape. The world is scary and messed up. School shootings, backyard politics, and all. I was raised to treat everyone with respect. Treat people the way you want to be treated. These days are not like that anymore. You choose a side, or you be denied, or be damned for whatever choice you make. The line between right and wrong is fading. So this is why my passions and interests are important. It keeps me on my mental positive edge. It feeds joy into my brain. My wife and daughter are a part of that world, my safety bubble. I will be honest in this book. I tried to kill myself once. I thought I was in love for someone who really cared for me, but not in the way I wanted. I was young and dumb. Ever since that moment in my life, it has been a constant test of getting over mental obstacles. Am I better? Hell no. Not by a long shot. But I'm here, but I've learned some things to help me mentally. I have grown up. You could take what you want from this book. These stories I will share and talk about certain fandoms and positive twists added to help you see why I have these passions. The grammar's fucking terrible. It's just because I like it's like if you see the thing, you'll be able to understand. Because I was walking and I stopped and I had these thoughts in my head and I just wrote it down and stuff like that, and that's just what happens. Like I was going through this my book over here, it's falling apart. But I found a script I was working on for a movie that I know one day will be done, but it's called Resrat. It's basically a story of my life. But added things here and there, but trying to add, I really want to see more Native American led type roles and stories and stuff like that. And I wrote this one called Resrat. And Resrat is a movie that could be a show, but I'd rather it be a movie about a young kid coming into the white man's world, coming out of the res. Because I was born and raised on the reservation. So I was very, 30 minutes away was town. That's where the movies were, that's where the entertainment was. That's where you went to, and TV was a big thing when I was a kid, and it was just funny. It's like that's the world I knew though, the Shiprock, New Mexico. That's the world I knew. And I love Shiprock. It's when I go home, when we get a chance to go home, it feels good. So I started writing the story and aspects of that and trying to find, a story within my story, but a story for all. Like here, interior, principal's office. Principal, Joe, why did you punch the cafeteria cook? Joe reaches into his bag and holds up a sad-looking piece of bread. Joe, how the fuck can you call this fry bread? Resrat. Fade to black, interior, car. Joe is in the back seat looking out the window. His dad, Dave, is driving. They are on the way to Flagstaff, Arizona from the Navajo Nation. Dave, Joe, you okay? Joe, sure. Dave, you never need to lie to me. Joe, I know. I never seen this much green. Dave, what do you mean? Joe, look at the mountains, the trees, how everything is alive. Literally, as soon as we hit the reservation borderline, it goes from nothing to something. Dave, it's different out here. It's crazy. When I came up here last year, my mind was blown. What's with the look, Joe? You know I'm proud of you, right? Dave. Thanks, Joe. You know, going to school at my age is the scariest leap I have ever taken. Exterior apartment complex. Dave pulls up to the apartment complex on campus. They get out of the car and is in awe of the trees and the complex itself. Joe, family housing is dope. Dave, I don't know about dope, but it is pretty cool. Joe, you think there are Ewoks out in the woods fucking? Dave, Joe, language. Joe, sorry, Dad. It was just a question. Dave, we need to act in a certain way. We need to act in a certain manner here. This is new, and this place is not the res. Joe, so you're saying only natives think Ewoks are getting busy in the woods? Dave says, smartass. Interior, new 1-bedroom apartment with 1 bathroom. It's empty. This is where they're gonna be living. Joe, 1 bedroom. Dave, it's all we can afford. Even with my scholarship and the loan. Joe, well, we'll make it work. Just don't do anything. Just don't do anything. I see what I need. Just don't do anything weird. That's not what a child should see from his father. And Dave goes, gross, you weirdo. Well, and then Joe, well, on that note, can we get some Chinese food out here? Yes, blah, blah, blah. I grew up on Chinese food. So let's see, how far did we go here? Oh, we met Pete, one of his friends. Let's see. Yeah, no, yeah. This is a rough draft. I think I have the better draft of the book, but the book fell off there. So, you know, I got as far as, you know, dealing with the teachers. Let's see. And then that, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry, trust me. Yeah. Oh, here's a note where we're talking about a horror magician movie. All right. Let's see. Joe's interior car outside. Dave is sitting there thinking about his mom and the conversation they had by the sheep corral. Dave, I miss you, Mom. I wish you were here. All right, Joe. Let's see what you've done this time. And Joe is a very, and that's not going to be his name. That was just a name I was just trying to think of. You know, I'm not creating characters like this and trying to create their names and create their identities is pretty tough, because I could just be like, his name's Kyle. But no, I want, you know, a character like this. He's young, you know, he's in a different world. He has to experience things differently, because I did when I moved out here. It was very vastly different than living on the reservation. You know, I got it, you know, and I got into a lot of trouble. You know, I ditched a lot of school, smoked a lot of weed, and, you know, wasn't the perfect kid, but I learned from those experiences to who I am now. I got a roof over my head. You know, this is our place, me, my wife, my kid, and it's just a constant reminder of be better, do better, act better, but you won't be perfect every single time. And reminding yourself it's going to be okay. You know, I have more stories, and, you know, I just wanted to get on here real quick and just talk to y'all. I just had some stuff just to get off my chest. You know, I know this wasn't really nerdy stuff. It was more about me, you know, the way I like it. Let's see if I can find something real quick and fun before we go. Let me grab my idea book real quick. I love my idea book because there's people out there that'll be like, what's in the book? I'm like, you don't need to know. You don't need to know. It's mine. But I'm over here reading it all to y'all. I got like this entertainer, what do you call it? Resume. It's kind of funny. I got my actual resume as a person. Let's see. You got drawings in here. Wizards and Outlaws by KMB the Sexy Ninja. This one was This one was funny because this is an idea I have for. I think I've talked about it before. Ghost pizza. You know, I've talked about that before. My Star Law stories. Yeah, we'll see. The Star Law, was this the draft one? No jobs, no worries. Deja Vu. This was the script I read. A short film. Let's see. Let's see. This is draft. The second draft, and this was done January 23rd, 2021. We'll go out on a good note, okay? You know, everything doesn't need to be down and whatnot. We'll go on a good note. Deja Vu by KMB the Sexy Ninja in the Star Law universe. Real quick, just so everyone knows, they're like, what the fuck is he talking about? I created this universe where it is my sci-fi drama. There's this idea of these things called Star Laws. They're the outlaws of the galaxy. And this particular character in this story, his name is Hal Needs. You know, he's the captain of the highball. And this is like my old man Logan, but to this character, my character that I created. So let's do this. Let's see what we got here. Fade in. Exterior. We open to a long stretch of desert. We pan across the desert and start to follow a road, Old Route 66. And we have a voiceover from our main character, Hal Needs voiceover. The year is 2052, and Earth is at the end of its story. 10 years prior was the Star Law downfall and the great AI wars that nearly destroyed the planets across the stars. But the tales grew of that battle for the existence of man, machine, and something superior to both. We are on borrowed time, and the past keeps knocking at my door. Will I answer and let my demons finally consume my soul? Fade out, fade in credits, Deja Vu. Fade out, fade in, interior. A small studio apartment with one bathroom and just plain white walls, one bed, also a nightstand with empty beer bottles, and one picture. Faded picture of the crew of 5. We find Hal Needs sleeping, and he is about 40 years old and is overweight. He once was the infamous Star Law, a group of outlaws to the higher powers in charge, a gang of thieves to many, but to the few, they were heroes. Hal was the captain of the legendary Highball, the fastest ship across all the sectors in the stars. Hal starts tossing and turning from his ongoing nightmares. We close in on his face, and Hal jumps awake with pure fear in his eyes. He reaches for a half-empty beer on the nightstand next to him. He chugs the beer and tosses it across the room. Hal Needs voiceover. Yeah, that's sorry. Yeah, that sack of shit right there is me, and the hero of the story. Once a great Star Law, and now a waste of space trying to keep my demons to whispers. My name is Hal Needs, or Captain Hal Needs, of the infamous Highball, the fastest and toughest ship across the stars and sectors. I remember a time when I was free and raising hell to the High Laws. And the High Laws are, of course, the bad guys, the politicians and governments of the planets. But here I am now in Arizona, and saddened by the fact that was my last beer. Interior. Small bathroom with no windows. Hal starts to wash off the drunken night he spent by himself, like always, and he starts looking deep into the mirror, trying to recognize himself while seeming lost in his own reflection. He hears a knock at the door. He turns his head in the direction of the door. He's starting to worry and confusion. He's starting to worry and confusion. He knows the day has just begun. You need to work on that right there. Hal Needs. Shit. Here we go again. Interior. Back into the apartment. Hal walks over to the door slowly and cautiously. Hal gently opens the door and peeks through the crack. No one is there like always, and he looks around, hoping this time there was someone. Hal notices an envelope on the ground by his feet. It is a plain white envelope with one word written on it in big black capital letters, remember. Hal slowly grabs the envelope and closes the door in a quick fashion. Hal observes the envelope and pulls the letter out. There is only one thing written on it in big black capital letters with only numbers and one letter of the alphabet. N8824. Hal starts shaking and starts to look around with his small apartment. Tears slowly start to go down his cheek. Hal sits on the floor and reaches into his pocket and pulls out a communication device. He stares at it and shakes his head to get it together for at least a few minutes. But he feels this all seems all too familiar. He looks like he has been living this over and over. Hal taps on the only number in the communication device and waits. It rings once and automatically goes straight to a robotic voice message. Thank you for calling Rowdy's Garage on Rainer Avenue across from this super popular Kathy Cafe. If you are listening to this, we apologize for the inconvenience, but our owner Rowdy has passed away. We will be closed for the rest of the week and will reopen next week. Thank you for the support, and Rowdy will be missed. She loved the community, and I loved working on your Spaceland cruiser. She loved working on your Spaceland cruisers and all that ships. Hal hangs up and looks around, starts crying again. He tosses the communication device towards his broken beer bottles that he threw earlier. Right when he stands up and wipes the tears from his face, he hears another knock at the door. This time he does not answer and waits, but a lone envelope slides under the door, and this time on the outside of it in big bold black letters, it says the highball. Hal picks up and rips open the envelope and pulls out the letter, and once again, just one word: crew. Hal's face tells the story, and of him slowly going into madness. He starts talking to himself. Hal needs. Remember, N8824, the highball, and crew. Every day, the same letters. What does it mean? I remember my crew, and I remember my ship. What game are you playing? This has been going on for 10 whole days now. Now that Rowdy is gone, and that means I am the only one left. The whole crew is dead except for me, and the Star Law will die with me. Me alone, and we never had the chance to bring it back to its full glory. Well, I never did. And I gave up on them, and they simply gave up on me. The great and infamous Captain Hal Needs. What a fucking joke. N8824. Just a letter and numbers. Nothing in my head knows that code. ID number? Ship class? What does it mean? N8824. 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 Come on, Hal. Think. Hal slowly lays down on the bed and stares at the ceiling, hoping to fall asleep. He closes his eyes and drifts back into his nightmares. Hal's door creeps open while he sleeps. A figure walks in and walks towards a tossing and turning Hal. The figure is tall and is wearing a trench coat with a cowboy hat on, and his face has been seen. It looks like his face has seen many wars. He draws his revolver from his side and puts it right to Hal's temple. Hal stops tossing and turning and opens his eyes towards the lone figure. Hal simply smiles and seems happy to see an old friend. Hal Needs. I was wondering when you would show up again. You are the one leaving the envelopes, aren't you? Can you just let this old captain retire and finally be ready for that long goodbye? I've been waiting and going crazy, just doing so, and day after day, the same thing. I think it is time. Well, I know it is time. You know what? Pull the trigger. Let us finish this, and I can see my crew and the old trusty cargo freighter known as the Highball that we stole from the High Laws back when they were eating the sectors inside and out. We were damn Star Laws. At one point, a true gang of bandits and thieves for the people. We stole from the top to feed the bottom. Now look at us, dead and gone. A memory to the infinite dying stars. I feel like a prisoner locked away in my own personal hell. Can you at least tell me what N8824 means? Hal then gets a curious look in his face, and finally, it all seems to make sense now. The figure pulls the gun away from Hal's head and, like a ghost, floats towards the open door. He looks back at Hal and smiles. He knows the message has been received now, and it is up to the old captain to regain his glory. The door closes, and Hal remains laying in his bed with a grin forming on his face. Death is gone, and Hal has survived. Hal sits up slowly and grabs the old faded photo of the nightstand. He looks at it and kisses it gently. Hal needs N8824. Rowdy, it was you sending the envelopes. Your voicemail had the clues. Every day while I was here stuck in this loop, and every time I called that number, your passing was a clue you got out of here. Also, the Cathy Cafe was the last place we all ate together. The old cowboy visiting me every time was the one we called death at a superstitious. The visiting every time we called death in a superstitious ghost story to our kind. It all makes sense now. N stands for the district for this prison cell in the north sector of the planet Raynor, and 8824 is the deja vu simulator we came across on our last job. Holy shit. The last job we got caught and they tortured us, and now I'm here in their never-ending personal hell cell. The high laws have me and my crew, and Rowdy has escaped, and she was pushing these messages through this system. Rowdy, I love you. All right, now it is time to get to work and escape this place before the next cycle. This time, Captain Hal needs... this is Captain Hal needs, and you mess with the wrong star law. Time to get to work. Hal gets up, gets dressed, and notices his clothes are just a white jumpsuit and rubber shoes now. This deja vu simulator made his surroundings all a lie. Hal starts to notice the walls glitching, and we see the cell transform into a huge square glass cube. He sees in horror many other glass cell cubes for miles around him. He starts to examine the walls for the door or any escape, and with a quick flash of light, the side of the cube opens, and Hal looks down into the darkness, and he grins big, and he takes a leap of faith. Fade to black. Interior, gray room with a metal table. A female is sitting at the table, handcuffed to it, and a laptop is sitting in front of her. She is watching Hal jump out of the cell and straight into the darkness. She closes the laptop. The black robotic guard standing in the corner looks dead and slumped over. Suddenly, the robotic guard shakes to life, and its eyes turn on from black to red. It starts walking towards her, and she looks at the machine in disgust. Robot guard. Inmate 3785, also known as inmate Rowdy needs. Your time is up, and you need to go back to your cell. The high laws have granted your request to see inmate 3786, your husband Hal needs, on the communication device to see if he is okay. My readers in the system just now are showing a hack decoder that you've entered into my programming. I was offline for 10 minutes. What have you been up to? Rowdy needs. You better be afraid. Tell the high laws their deja vu simulator did not work on Hal. He needed a little push and some mental motivation that I gave him through your very poor and easily hackable system. Now that he is out on the loose, he will raise hell on this planet and this prison. It is only a matter of time. Me and our crew is free. Good luck to anyone that will get in his way. The black robotic guard slowly backs up and starts to scan his system for Hal's cell. He realizes everything she said is true, and the robot sounds the alarms. The room goes in red flashing lights, and Rowdy is sitting there with a huge smile. Fade to black. Credits. Okay. There's some work there. I think in the next draft, I don't make Rowdy his wife. I think that was an idea I had in the beginning, but yeah, so there you go. All right, y'all. Thank you for chilling with me. Like and subscribe. Much love and respect. Thank you for even listening. I appreciate everyone that's listening. I appreciate, going off on this vent, tangent, whatever you want to call it. And hopefully it does something for somebody. Hopefully it does something for you. It did a hell of a lot for me. And I love every single one of y'all. Every single one of y'all. Thank you. Nothing but love and respect. Go get yourself some merch from our T Public store. The True Sexy Ninja. Let's see. It's on this side. Right there. Our mascot, the True Sexy Ninja mascot, created by Katie. Get yourself some of those New World Podcast logos created by Penta X, and everything else by me and Big Daddy. Anything and everything helps. And the biggest thing is share it with your grandma. Share it with your grandpa. Share it with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja. And as always, stay sexy, ninjas.
Welcome to the wicked shit.